What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Unbelievably, we have early plot details for Avengers Secret Wars. Now, admittedly, they will have just started filming principal photography, and while you can ask the same for any of the information that gets out, where in the world could they have gotten this? You have to imagine with the multiple rewrites, reshoots, additional principal photography, pickup photography, and things that will change between now and when Avengers Secret Wars actually hits theaters at the end of next year, things are subject to change. That being said, we're going to go through this very early Avengers Doomsday plot leak because some of the details in here are absolutely insane. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, want to stay up to date on everything Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday, the best way to support the channel is to hit the sub button. Of course, you can leave a comment down below that automatically enters through the giveaways. If you want to stick around at the end of the video, we get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this is apparently a full plot leak for Avengers Secret Wars coming from the Twitter scoopster My Time to Shine Hello, who obtained it and reposted it. We're going to go ahead and read through it in full and then break it down and talk about it in context of what we already know. Again, keep in mind everything I said during the prologue. Everything is subject to change. Take that as you will. This is what it says, quote, "A year has passed since Battleworld was created by Dr. Doom. Most of its residents have no memory of the old world, with only a few exceptions. Everyone on Battleworld, whose society is medieval and feudal, believes it has always existed. Their past lives have been rewritten into new roles, such as barons, rulers, and citizens of various domains. However, all three Spider-Men remember the old world, as does Namor, the Young Avengers, Vision, She-Hulk, Deadpool, Sadie Sink Jean Grey, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Reed Richards, and Sentry. They form a resistance after realizing that Doom is not just a ruler, he is the force sustaining reality itself. Battleworld exists because Doom is actively maintaining it using Loki's stolen powers. They split up and travel through different domains, each acting as a fragmented version of old universes, search for weaknesses in Doom's structure, and recruit allies who are beginning to glitch by retaining their memories or questioning reality. Doom commands an army of Thors, with Doctor Strange serving as his second in command. He also has his coven of witches, and of course Loki's stolen powers. Yelena serves as his third in command, though she has no powers. Sentry is captured and held under lock and key. Another key figure Doom keeps imprisoned is Steve Rogers, the only person whose memory he deliberately preserved. Doom hates Steve and wants him to witness his victory, to see that Doom has won and built a new family while Steve has lost everything. Instead of attacking Doom directly, the Resistance focuses on turning his forces against him. She-Hulk gathers the Hulks, Deadpool manages to restore Thor's memories, the Young Avengers unite the mutant population. Tom Holland's Spider-Man rallies New York, while Reed Richards gathers the remaining members of the Future Foundation. Meanwhile, Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, and Steve Rogers, who escapes Doom's prison with Yelena's help, set out on a mission to find Loki. Since Doom restored everyone, Loki is alive as well, and he is the only one capable of reclaiming Doom's stolen power. Loki is found in an Asgardian domain that has become a casino, a shady, corrupt version of Asgard. There, they encounter Sylvie, Mobius, Obi, and other TVA members working in the casino. Loki is the manager, but he refuses to believe their story and throws them out. At their lowest point, they discover someone unexpected, Tony Stark. He is a miserable drunk, gambling away his life at the casino, and initially refuses to join them. Eventually, they convince him, and then they convince Loki as well. In the final battle, armies amass from across Battleworld and gather to storm Doom's castle. Thor and the Hulks fight against the army of Thors, while Sam leads the resistance against the witches, Doombots, and the rest of Doom's forces. Reed Richards, Yelena, Sue who now remembers everything, Steve Rogers, Hulk, She-Hulk, Tom Holland Spider-Man, Sentry, Loki, Iron Man, Wolverine, and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man all confront Doom directly. Doom overwhelms them, defeating them brutally, and they are nearly killed. Reed and Sue try to reason with him, telling him that he is grieving for his family and that Battleworld is not the answer. He is briefly convinced, but ultimately rejects their argument and attacks them again. They are saved at the last moment by Toby, Hugh, and Tony, who managed to hold Doom off long enough for Loki to reclaim his stolen power and restore the multiverse. Everything returns to normal. Loki returns to his throne, but not before saying a final goodbye to Thor and his TVA friends. Everyone is sent back to their original universes. Deadpool, Wolverine, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four return to their own realities and do not join the MCU. What this means for the future remains unclear. The MCU continues as it did before. The TVA later brings Steve, Peggy, and their son, who is now alive again, to a new universe where they originally existed but had died, preventing any incursions from occurring again. Before leaving, Steve asks the TVA for one last favor. Years later, an older Steve is visited by the TVA. They bring him back to Earth 616 at the end of Avengers Endgame so he can pass the shield on to Sam. After saying a final goodbye to Sam and Bucky, he returns with the TVA to the reality where Peggy and their son are alive. The end. Now look, we've been covering plot leaks of every kind here at the channel from MCU properties pretty much the entire time I've had the channel, no matter how unbelievable, believable they are, no matter where they come from, anonymous 4chan or Reddit posts or even from industry insiders. We always try to cover them with the same skeptical mind and objective reality of what we already know about the projects. And sure, can you throw together a bunch of key characters and say that they're all going to fight Doom and that Doom created Battleworld? Here's basically my point after reading this, and I think you got to keep this in mind. This was just generic enough to maybe nail some parts of the plot, basically knowing what we're in for with Secret Wars, the creation of Battleworld, and what we already know about Doom. Pretty much everything that's been confirmed about his story all fits nicely into the box. And yes, the touch at the end there was very nice about them closing the loop as far as how Old Man Steve got back to give the shield to Sam. Maybe we'll even see where that shield comes from in the first place, and they'll leave a little time loop in there like they did with Miss Marvel. Working under the lens and assumption that even if there is some thread of reliability in this, and there are some things that are true, that things are drastically going to change, the one part of this that is the most unbelievable is about them resetting a timeline where the X-Men and the Fantastic Four aren't in it. Look, we know that they're about to reset the X-Men, but we also just heard during this plot leak that Sadie Sink's Jean Grey is one of them, and bringing the Fantastic Four into our timeline, into a singular timeline MCU where all the properties are united, are one of the main ways that they're going to use Secret Wars in this soft reboot for the MCU. Look, I know about our most recent report for the Mutant Saga that Fantastic Four 2 is no longer a priority. I talked about why, even at a slight loss at the box office, that franchise, that property is just too important to Marvel proper. Reed Richards is too important for the future of Doctor Doom. Yes, past Avengers Secret Wars, that I can't see them scrapping that franchise completely. I also can't see them leaving them isolated in their own universe, not when they can join them up with what will be the new X-Men and a lot of the returning OG Avengers. Yes, some OG cast members will die. Yes, it will be a while, but some of them will get recast. Yes, some of the old Fox X-Men might end up sticking around to join the new X-Men, say like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool or Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, or both of them. But what's probably not going to happen is Marvel Studios is going to go back to a segmented multiverse where we don't have an X-Men and presumably this Fantastic Four in the MCU. Look at who they cast with Pedro Pascal and Vanessa Kirby. Trust me, there are multiple pictures on those contracts. They are not going away from that team. They're also not stranding them back in the 828, disconnected from everyone. If anything, some of those characters, specifically the Fantastic Four, but the new X-Men characters, will all persist into the 616 and after the soft reboot. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below about any and all of this, your reaction to it. If you feel the same way I do, I am all ears in the comments as always. Remember to hit the subscribe button to keep up the videos. Remember to leave a comment down below to be entered for the giveaways. Hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on if you want to keep up better, because listen, the long-form algorithm in 2026 is a mystery to me. And of course, if you like today's video, hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on my second channel, The Michael Roman Show. I promise we're going to start up production over there real soon. I've been looking for an editor. I finally hired another one, so we'll have multiple videos coming there daily. If you want to hear my take on other stuff outside of the MCU and Hollywood, find me on The Michael Roman Show. Find me here in the next video. I'll see you either place. Peace.